I've been a teacher for 20 years, and I've been a surfer my whole life. I grew up in a setting of schooling and family where helping others was mandatory. Helping others was part of what you were supposed to be doing in life. And for me, this is blending everything that I am into one thing. I'm a surfer, and I'm a teacher, and I'm out to help others wherever I can. And those three elements are the essence of IndoJax Surf Charity.
I don't know where I am, I don't know where I've been, but I know where I want to go.
This was a big week for IndoJax Surf Charities because at the beginning of the week we had Surfers Healing, which is a real significant event for IndoJax Surf Charities. And we had, after that, we had a 3-day autism surf camp. And we had about 30 children with autism that came out for 3 days. And we had a great surf camp with those kids as well. Surfers Healing is significant to IndoJax because I feel that the Surfers Healing organization were the pioneers of using surf as therapy. Surfers Healing is based in California. Well, John Pike was the one who brought it to Wrightsville Beach, and he's grown it into just such a wonderfully big program here, and it's an important part of the autism community, and it's one of the best surf events that happens on Wrightsville Beach. IndoJax Surf School and IndoJax Surf Charities, our role at Surfers Healing now, we're now the in-water support team, which means we get to be in the water surfing with the kids with autism next to Izzy Paskowitz and his crew. Families from all over the place who have children with autism come down to the beach, and I think there was 230 or 260 kids that got a chance to surf that day.
The children with autism they just seem to have an extra sense. You know, once they get on the wave, it seems like they just kind of let go and let the board carry them through, but they stay on the board and find their balance in it.
It's something that makes your heart feel good. It makes you feel fulfilled. It, makes me feel as though I'm really, adding some joy to a child's life. The laughs, the smiles, the hugs that they were giving the instructors, and the laughter, the sheer joy in their laughter.
For any child, especially with autism, that's isolated themselves in their life, to be out here and see other kids that have the same type of situation going on, the same type of problems going on, all coming together and being able to surf, and they can see, well, they can do it, I can do it too. And that, that camaraderie, just that connection with other people, I think is huge.
People saving whales and giving your thanks to our sea. My respect to the ones in the forest, standing up for our old trees. Them giving food to the hungry.
Autism was a very difficult issue for me to deal with. I really at first was at a loss and felt like maybe working with autism was not my cup of tea. But I kept going back because I was so inspired by Surfers Healing. I kept trying new things. I kept putting myself in that position. And one of the things I learned was you don't have to have all the answers all the time. You don't have to always have a perfect plan all the time. And with autism, it's very much that way. You get a child, you walk them down to the water, you have no idea how they're going to react.
I've always looked at these kids as being very isolated, not being very independent, being somewhat alone. And these kids were extremely well connected to their families. They were a huge part of their family dynamic. They were very engaging with both our instructors and the people that were working with them.
One of the biggest things for me is how quickly us as instructors can gain the kids' trust. I think a lot of it is just blowing through the fear factor, knowing you're going to be okay no matter what, and that you've got somebody that's going to be with you all the time. I've heard a lot of our instructors, including myself, just express to the kids, I'm not going to let anything bad happen to you. Let's just go out and do it. And that usually is enough to get them out in the water to try it.
I was amazed at what I saw these surfers doing with these kids. It was amazing how these children that were kicking and screaming before they were getting in the water would all of a sudden relax and mellow out once in the water.
Autistic kids are such a joy to work with because they're so enthusiastic, and they all have this attitude of I can do anything. You know, there are difficulties because there's difficulties with communication, there's difficulties with the fear, but all of these kids, you know, got over it so quickly. I was very surprised.
The only thing is, once we got them out in the water, most of them didn't want to come in. They were just having too much fun.
Sometimes with autism, you really don't know what the reaction will be. They will kick, they will scream, they'll bite. As soon as enough water is touching them, when they get out in the ocean, 9 times out of 10, those reactions subside, those violent reactions, extreme reactions subside, and an overwhelming calmness takes over.
One of the kids that I was working with, whose mom didn't think he would even get in the water, and by the end of the first camp, we had him riding his own waves in by himself. And she was just amazed at how a part of him came out that she never thought would ever happen, that she'd ever seen.
Parents will say he's nonverbal, so he won't say anything, and you get him in the water and they start talking. That happened in our surf camp, our autism camp, and it happens at Surfers Healing quite a bit. Children that are kicking and screaming and throwing huge fits about getting in the water, once they touch the water, once they get submerged, they just completely relax.
I think it's a fantastic thing that they can tell their friends what they did, you know, and the experience that they had. But I also think there's a part that kind of sits in the back of the mind that when they run into a problem, even if it's something as a simple math problem or a question that may come up, that they realize they might not get it now, but if they work at it a little bit, they'll understand it. And that's where it's really, really important, the whole aspect of what we're doing with Surfers Healing. I think anyone can surf with the right coaching and the right attitude, the right mindset, absolutely.
These kids picked it up so quickly. There were kids that were standing and riding on the first day, and then there were some kids that, you know, it took a couple days and you know, they were killing it by the end of the week.
Our surf camps have really little to do with surfing. I mean, it's great if they want to continue surfing, and we're there for them if they want to continue surfing. But what our surf camps are really built for is for everything else in their life. Once they leave our camp, we want them empowered for life. We want them feeling like, hey, I conquered that activity that I never dreamed of doing, that I never thought I would ever be able to do, and I did it. Any problem, any issue they encounter in the rest of their life, we hope that they will think back to this week of surfing and say, hey, I did that. Here's all I have to do is I have to stay focused. I have to work hard. I have to keep trying. If I need help, I can ask for it. If I'm a little fearful, that's okay. I can fight through it. Those are the life skills that we hope they walk away from, that they can apply to everything else in their life.